Today we're going to be taking a look at some internetisms, which Urban Dictionary defines as a phrase or term that was born on and primarily used on the internet. Not to be confused with internet autism, which my doctor tells me is both not real and also terminal.
That's a lot of nuts!
This is a great white shark. Unbothered and unmoved by every other fish around him, he is the largest predatory fish in the ocean. But being able to eat your way out of most situations isn't enough these days. Though the shark has the security of size and stature, he still lacks in security when he's browsing online. The great white finds himself frustrated with his inability to access region-locked content, and is constantly plagued with cookies that track his every purchase, raising the prices of what he wants to buy online. He lashes out at the deep-sea cables that carry the internet. Much to his dismay, it is ineffective. Despite his multiple rows of infinitely regenerating teeth, this isn't a problem that can be solved with biting. His fins are designed for speed, not for precision, so he is unable to click the link in the description to download Surfshark, a much more effective fish for internet security. The Surfshark has what is known as a virtual private network, effectively camouflaging everything that it does online, so it is unaffected by websites that attempt to charge you more because of where you live, block off Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube videos simply because they aren't available in your region, and even hide the fact that you're downloading Sly 3 Band of Thieves as an ISO file from your ISP. A schooling fish, the Surfshark can be installed on an unlimited number of devices for no extra fee. Surfshark 1, a close relative of the Surfshark, has more premium features, like a built-in antivirus system, as well as webcam protection, so you can stop covering up your webcam. They've got your back, I promise. While the depths of the ocean can be scary for anyone who's not a shark, thanks to Surfshark, you can browse the internet with relative safety. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not pleased with any aspect of their program, and you can get some tremendous Black Friday deals by either using code Sumito or clicking the link in the description. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video.
Transition!
Got your Gyatt for the Rizzler. You're so skibbity. You're so Fanum Tax. I just wanna be your Sigma.
Obviously, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence and taking the time to explain some of these internetisms to you if I didn't touch on the song that has caused mass confusion because of how many internet terms are stuck into it, resulting in people having no idea what's being said, despite the fact that the tune's kinda catchy. The Fanum Tax song, as it's become to be known on the internet, is a parody of the song Ecstasy by Suicidal Idol, the original lyrics of which are sticking out your tongue for the picture. Parodied in this song is sticking out your Gyatt for the Rizzler. Now, while many of these terms do have definitions and real-world situations where you would say them, a lot of them are just stuck into the song because they fit and sort of sound nice, though not exactly cohesive to what's being said in the Fanum Tax song. The first word, and probably the most popular word in this song to come up, is the term Gyatt, which arguably is the one that has superseded its status as internet slang and has now become a sort of household term in hip-hop, Twitch streaming, and just general conversations outside of the internet. It is effectively a bastardization and a bit of a portmanteau of the word goddamn, specifically when referring to somebody with a big ass. You can kind of see this in action if you imagine like Chris Tucker from Rush Hour yelling at Jackie Chan and then getting distracted by a girl with a big booty. Like, damn it, Lee, don't you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yeah, damn! It's important to note that we're specifically talking about Gyatt spelt with 2 T's, because Gyatt spelt with 1 T is actually an older word that has been used since the early 2010s as sort of a replacement for the word God or got, to be read as sort of Gyatt, like you're saying it with a Jamaican accent or like a Jamaican Queen's accent. There's also GYAT as an acronym, which has been used in early internet culture as girl you ate that, as sort of like Gyatt, like you're giving a compliment to a girl who did something great. We're not referring to that. We're talking about Gyatt with 2 T's, and its modern interpretation as the amalgamation of goddamn when referring to a girl with a big butt has now become a noun specifically meaning a big butt. The popularization of the term Gyatt is usually attributed to streamer Kai Cenat because of his incredible audience and his influence on both streaming, YouTube, and hip-hop culture at this point, but a little bit of digging shows that he may have popularized the term after another streamer, Your Rage, was the first one to sort of say the word Gyatt, or introduce the word Gyatt in his community in its modern interpretation much earlier, as shown by this clip.
Everybody used to say goddamn or golly, but I said it weird. I'd always say Gyatt, I would never say goddamn. Chat realized that, and a way of making fun of me in 2020, they started typing Gyatt to mock me. Nobody used to say Gyatt. When we say Gyatt, it just gotta be booby. Say Gyatt! It's an expression like Gyatt! Oh, Gyatt!
Hence the phrase, sticking out your Gyatt. But what's a Rizzler?
Why Rizzler? They call me the Rizzler because of my unspoken Rizz. Oh yeah? Let's see you Rizz up Poison Ivy.
The word Rizz is one of my favorites because it kind of rolls off the tongue and has a bunch of different variations, none of which that really make sense, but all kind of convey the same idea. The word Rizz, as popularized on the internet, came yet again from streamer Kai Cenat back in early 2021, where he would basically host sort of like an e-dating Twitch stream where he would have people try and talk to each other, flirt, and see if, you know, they liked each other or whatever. As this went on, they started to coin the term Rizz, which came from the middle of the word charisma, and to say that somebody had Rizz was basically just to say that somebody had swagger, attractiveness, a way with women, they were successful in their flirting. This term that they coined continued to have different sort of conjugations of the same word. If you said you were rizzing someone up, that meant that you were attempting to flirt with somebody. Somebody who had Rizz or unspoken Rizz, as sort of a random variation of the word, meant that they had game, sauce, juice. They were good at speaking with the opposite sex, or, you know, confident in their self, as it were. To call somebody the Rizzler kind of means nothing. It's a play on the Batman villain, the Riddler, but hey, it sounds good. With this newfound knowledge, we can now decipher the first line of the song, sticking out your Gyatt for the Rizzler. Literally, it means somebody is sticking out their butt for someone who's flirting with them, but because the song is sort of sung from the perspective of the so-called Rizzler, it's actually him being a bit braggadocious in the fact that this woman who he's trying to flirt with is reciprocating in his energy by sticking out her Gyatt, because why wouldn't she be? He is, after all, self-confident, charismatic, has the Rizz, so to speak. I feel like fucking Ben Shapiro trying to make sense of that WAP music video. As fun as it is to analyze internet vocabulary, the song starts to kind of fall apart at this point. The first line has a lot of history and verbiage that makes sense, but the next line, you're so skibbity, you're so Fanum Tax, while still using some internetisms, doesn't make sense anymore. The term skibbity or skibbity toilet, as you may know it, comes from this YouTube channel titled The Fuck Boom, who makes source filmmaker movies uploaded to his YouTube channel that are all sort of titled Skibbity Toilet Part 10, 20, 50, whatever it is. They're all relatively well done. A lot of them feature this very well-known head placed into a gunship or a toilet, as you may commonly know it. And they're all very, like, large, big scale, relatively well-done videos, but they're all very sort of, there's no story. They're very nonsensical. They're very surreal. It's a lot of like apocalyptic landscapes and just stuff flying through the air. There's limits to what you can do in source filmmaker as a bit of an amateur, but with 35 million subscribers, this guy's definitely made a name of making Skibbity Toilet videos. The animations of Skibbity Toilet are also closely associated with a mashup TikTok version of a song combining Bizer King's Dom Dom Yes Yes, which is in a foreign language, but he does say the word skibbity, so that's probably where we get it from, mixed with a remix of Timbaland's Give It To Me, which you might know from the meme from Zoolander with the two characters walking by each other. You may notice at this point that I still haven't given you a definition for the word skibbity, despite the fact that there's all these aspects that sort of come together to give it an identity, and that's because it still doesn't mean anything. Despite the fact that it's in the song and the guy says, "You're so skibbity," that doesn't mean anything. You don't really use it in normal vocabulary. I mean, it alludes to all of these other things, but it's not an adjective or a noun, not by itself. Fanum Tax seems to be the term in the entirety of the song that has the most speculation and confusion as to what it actually means, and it's probably because, yet again, it's not used in a way that makes any sense. It, again, is not an adjective. But it comes from yet again, Kai-Cenat's stream, where there's sort of like a reoccurring joke where fellow streamer It's Fanum will come into Kai's room when he's eating something, or sometimes even when delivering his food, and will sort of assume that he is owed some of that food because, you know, it's Fanum. He gets some of your food. He claims in a recent interview that he did with GQ that it's all about sharing food with your friends, but in reality it's the equivalent of like coming home with food and your dad's like, hey, let me get a bite of that. You live in my house. I gotta get some of the food you brought in.
As the king of the family, you gotta make sure you get a cut. What's this?
Boneless teriyaki.
Huh? Tax bite?
Damn, look out, ladies. You might lose a finger.
It's that. It's a tax on the food that you have because you live with somebody who's a bit of a greedy bitch. That's what the Fanum Tax is. And again, in the lyrics of the song, to say that somebody is skibbity means nothing, and to then also say you're so Fanum Tax also means nothing. Although in a Dexerto video or article, it does state that it is loosely used by older generations to sort of make fun of younger generations because it's such a ridiculous term to use in casual conversation. But at this point, we can say that about pretty much anything we've talked about so far. The last lyric that I can be bothered to do any research in is the penultimate line of the song, in which the singer states, "I just want to be your Sigma." A sort of down-to-earth, romanticized, almost final line of the song that's kind of like, I want to be your man. But the term Sigma specifically has a few different definitions on the internet. At its core, it's basically interchangeable with the term Chad or alpha, in stark contrast to what you might call a beta male. A Sigma is the strong silent type, a man of successful endeavors and self-confidence, somebody who has Rizz, but specifically somebody who does so while being a bit quiet and understated. Now, while I did say a Sigma male is basically at its core interchangeable with the term alpha or Chad, there is a bit of a distinction in that while there is very much a nerd-jock dynamic going on with betas and alphas or chads and virgins, there isn't so much this hatred for Sigma males by anybody who isn't a Sigma, the way that there is for jocks by people who maybe don't consider themselves that manly to be considered a jock. A Sigma male is more of a mentality where anybody can be a Sigma male if you look within yourself and portray the personalities of somebody like Christian Bale from American Psycho, which has sort of become the mascot for Sigma males. It may seem silly to have these specific distinctions between words that nobody really gives a shit about, but the funny thing is that with the term Sigma male, there is a bit of a meme parodying the male fashion and male self-improvement channel Alpha M, where he did a series of clickbait videos where it was basically like, are you a Sigma? Are you a Chad? Is it different from a beta? Let me clickbait this video and tell you the differences so you can be an alpha male. And it's sort of just grown from that. The last line of the song is just give me your Ohio, which means literally nothing and is just using Ohio as a buzzword because it is the center of so many memes on the internet. But it does bring us to the end of our class. I think I've effectively shed some light on some of the more confusing vocabulary in this music, and I think I'm actually more confused at the end of this than I was when I started. But if I'm being honest, that's about the most Sigma male thing I could have done up to this point. A real Sigma male would be hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss my videos coming out every single week. If you have any terms that you'd like some clarification on, please leave them down in the comments so I can do more of these videos. And also click the link in the description so that you get some massive Black Friday discounts on Surfshark VPN. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace!